Right. Like you're totally live now, and the whole internet can see you right now. So all right, so all right, so well, basically, um, I kind of started here, guys, talking about traveling the world, and I wanted to talk about like how is it possible because everybody kind of makes this a hard thing, right? And it's not really that hard to travel the world, and I know it might seem that way, you know, but it's not really that hard, right? And so, I haven't really talked a whole lot about um, my travels, but I've been to. I mean, to be honest with you, I can't. I stopped counting at like 63, so I'm like at 60, over 65 countries right now. Okay, and not once did I ever concern myself with how I was going to get a work or how was I going to get paid or whatever. I just kind of like it. Never to me was never an option to think about like, oh well, where am I going to work? It's just like I'll get work. So I told a story on Facebook about how I had a conversation. It's really a trip. I was, here's California. Let's call it Cali, right? Here's Cali, and then like here was Mexico, and literally I stopped like not too far from there and was having a conversation with my friend in my car. This is my Jeep right here, right? So that's me. All right, so I'm in my Jeep or whatever, and my friend was having a conversation with me. He's like, "Hey, man, what are you gonna do?" I'm like, "Man, I really want to go out of the country. I really want to start traveling around." Right? I'm like, I don't know, 29, 30 years old at the time, right? So I'm like, "Man, I really want to take off." And he's like, "Well, what are you gonna do about language, or what are you gonna do about money?" And I just basically said, "Man, I'll learn, man. If I've traveled all over the United States of America. If I've ever, I've hustled all over the United States in New York. If you can make it in Los Angeles, in South Central Los Angeles, or if you can make it in New York City, then for me, I'm saying I can make it anywhere. I don't care where I go because there's nothing as tough as New York or Los Angeles as far as I'm concerned. Well, now you got Chicago. Even I've been to Chicago, right? So Chirac they call it, right? So I've been all over the world. So how is it possible to travel all around the world, okay, and make money? It's not a complicated task, guys. I'm dead ass serious when I say this, right? The number one thing you need to do, all right, so is get your passport. All right. I I remember when they passed the law that everybody in the United States had to have passports. I was already out of the country at the time, but they were like, in 2 years you have to have your passport. You guys refuse to go get your passports. Don't wait until it's time to travel to go get your fucking passport. Go get it now. That's like the number one thing that you should be doing right now is go pay that 99 bucks to get your passport, right? If you don't have your passport, dude, like if people are talking about coming to France or something like that to visit, when do you have your passport? Like, no. I'm like, well, okay, I don't even talk to you then. Like, if you don't have your passport, in the rest of the world, a passport is like kind of like par for the course. Everybody has one, right? Especially in Europe because you can cross over to so many different countries. Think about Europe as like the United States of America, like leaving from California going to Arizona, except for Arizona would be um, Belgium, or Arizona would be, the Netherlands or Holland or whatever, right? So kind of think of it on that level. So there's a lot of really small little countries that you can drive through and catch, and they have the little visa, not no visa area, but like to go to Greece, you got to have your passport. And they're gonna check you. So you got to get your passport. That's like the number one thing. Your passport it's your passport to the world. That's what it is. And it's just a government issued identification, man. So get that passport, right? And then you have a passport card. Now that passport card is good enough to go to Caribbean countries, and it's like a regular ID. and it's good enough for you to go to Caribbean countries, Mexico, and I believe Canada. Okay, and maybe even like Bermuda or something like that, like the Bahamas. Real close stuff, and you can go. I might be lying. It might be just land borders. Um, but you check on that. But the card is cool because, like, if you're gonna go back and forth and do business with Canada or do, which is your biggest trade partners in the United States of America is Canada, right? So if you're gonna do business like going back and forth to Canada, there are a lot of business opportunities right there, just on the other side of the border, especially in Mexico. So that's like where we're gonna start talking about how to make money while you're traveling, right? So if you're in the United States of America, let's start there, because like if you're in Australia, then you guys are like in the middle of no fucking where, right? So right, and in England, you guys will just like go to Spain, and that's as far as you'll ever go. So, there's a few of you dudes. There's a few of you dudes that are like in like I don't know, in the States. It's really weird. Like you guys are starting to migrate over there and kind of take over a little bit, but like over into acting and stuff like that. But Brits pretty much, they got to be able to get on EasyJet and go home like in a drop of a hat. I watched that show, A Place in the Sun, and their number one concern is, I'd like to get home and see my friends and family. It's like, man, why are you even leaving? Just stay home then. So the first place you should go is Mexico, I think, to get your feet wet, right? And so what I did was I drove from California, right, all the way down. It's like well, like 500 miles, like 1,000 kilometers or whatever, down to Cabo San Lucas, right? And then you guys know that there's like the sea. I can't remember what it's, the Gulf right there. So, anyways, and then you got to go across to like mainland Mexico, right? So this is mainland. So I took that across, and then I drove another like 4,000 kilometers down to Belize, right? And that was a hell of a drive. Now, it cost me, it was a nice lesson, man. But what I can tell you is I stayed in Tijuana for like, I don't know, before I would leave, man. I think I stayed for like 45 days. And that's where I started learning how to speak the language. And you're wondering, how do you speak the language? All you do is you just immerse yourself and start talking. You'll figure it out. It's not that hard. And then ask everybody, number one, how everybody in the country is your language teacher. Okay? Like in Spanish, it's como se dice. How do you say this? How do you say that? Como se dice. That should be like number one coming out of your mouth, right? So that's how you tackle the language problem. Everybody in the country is your language teacher. Como se dice. Como se dice this? Como se dice that? And they'll tell you how to say it, and you remember it, and you start putting together sentences, right? So that's the number one. Like if you're in Mexico, you'll start understanding what languages. And once you start speaking Spanish, French and Italian and other languages will come really easy, because a lot of the words are similar, right? But so that's their language problem. So now we have a money problem, right? So what do we do to take care of this big problem right here, right? So everywhere you go, there are big expat communities. And you need to network with expats. Now, I want to make something really clear here, right? I'm going to make this kind of in red, right? You don't want to hang out with these guys too much. They're going to be talking a lot of shit about visas and work visas, and they're going to be talking about the country and what they don't like about it and the laws. Don't get involved with the local politics. Don't fall into the trap of the expats that have been there for a million years. What you want to do is network and find out what everybody does for business. Okay? And you're going to run into some interesting people. Now, you're going to say, well, Sonny, how do I do that? Well, you got the fucking internet, man. Just get on the internet and find out. Run a search for expats in Mexico, expats in American expats in Paris, American expats wherever. And you're going to see groups and meetups. This is huge. Okay? When you see those meetups, right? And this is like soon as you get in the country. Don't wait like 5 months to do this. Do this like your first day. When I moved to Cancun, they had a website called Cancun Assist. and that was like the biggest website it was because everybody that wanted to move to Cancun. This dude that set up this website, and it was before social media, right? So he had this once like Cancun on lock, and everybody met up there at Cancun Assist, and there was a little bar on Yachilan that everybody on Yachilan, it's a street that everybody met up on, and on Sundays you would catch all the expats in that bar, right? And that's where you want to be. You want to go to the bar where all of them hang out, tell them you're new in town, right? And start being nosy. You're going to find out what people are doing. Oh, this guy runs a boat charter. This guy does this. This guy does that. This guy is a wedding photographer. This guy does whatever. Everybody's going to have a little business. Now, here's the thing, right? About expats. Most of them are lazy. Okay? So, and what I mean by being lazy is they don't want to speak Spanish. They don't want to speak French. They don't want to speak German or wherever they are. They're going to be lazy. British are really like that. They they'll marry a Spanish woman, but they will not speak Spanish, right? Americans are the same way. You guys will come to France and speak English and get pissed off when nobody will speak fucking English to you, and it's weird. All right, so don't be lazy and learn the local language. Because when you do that, right, when you learn the local language, what have you done, right? There's a barrier here for them, but there's no barrier for you, okay? So you've just made yourself one up right then, right? So that makes you number one. This is like a long round explanation. I'm going to do a whole series on this, but I'm kind of giving you like the ins and outs of how you can become successful without even being online, okay? That's the number one thing is when you go to other countries, there's two things that you don't want to be dependent upon, right? The number one thing that you don't want to be dependent upon in smaller countries is their currency. You never want to be dependent on making money in the country in their currency with the local people. That's number one. Number two, you don't want to be dependent upon their health system, okay? You want to have enough money to go to the doctor. If you don't have enough money to go to the doctor, you're done for. So those are the two like no-nos. Don't be like dependent on going to their doctors and getting their cheap health care because you're going to die. The second thing is you don't want to live on their currency. So when you're working for expats, okay, when you're working for the lazy expats, remember that. They're lazy. Most of these dudes are 70 years old, they're 80 years old, and they don't 60 years old, they're retired. They only have the bar, or they only have their photography studio, or they only have their wedding service or whatever they're doing. They only have that shit to be busy. Right? Are they married a Mexican woman or a Dominican woman or a Filipino woman? Or they married, one of the local Thai girls or whatever? And they just got a business for them, right? And their family, right? I knew one guy that bought like rice fields in the Philippines for his woman, right? And he wanted to start exporting the rice. Job done, right? So especially now when you go to certain places like in Mexico, it's really easy. Like if you're in the United States of America, right? And let's say you go right on the border of San Diego, okay? And you have TJ on this side. Well, you just go to San Diego, go buy some shit low, and come to Mexico and sell it high. Shit like cell phones, gaming, game devices or whatever, household appliances and shit like that, right? But here's the thing. You can't sell it in TJ. So what do you have to do? You have to travel. Now, so this is where the slickness comes about. So when you bring it across the border, Mexico has something like a 40% tax, right? So when you come across the border, when you have your car, like say you have a Mexican registered car, so you have to switch cars out, right? I'm giving you a lot of game right now. So if you're an American car, you start going deeper in Mexico, they're going to charge your ass. So what you do is when you drive from San Diego in your American car, you switch out for a Tier 1 Mexican car, and you drive on, and you won't get fucked with for your taxes. Then you drive somewhere in the middle of Mexico, right? The farm workers and shit like that, and you go sell your shit. You're talking like maybe a 5 hour drive or 6 hour drive down with whatever you have, like telephone cases, just a bunch of shit that they want, right? You just look, find out what they want, right? That is like the number one easiest hustle to make money while you're out of the country. You guys were expecting me to say, "Oh, you could have a social media marketing agency, or you could, um, or you could start a digital marketing agency." No, you don't have to do all of that stuff, right? So I'm going to come back on tomorrow, guys. This is just a really quick video to kind of give you an idea of how to start making money while you're outside of the country without working online if you don't want to, right? If you really want to leave out of the country like right now, then go. There's nothing stopping you from leaving right now. Well, Sonny, I don't have any money. So what? Neither did I. You want to know how much money? This will bust your noodle, right? Okay, so I drove from San Diego, California, okay, and I probably had like $6,000 on me, right? And when I left there, and I got to Belize, and I didn't like Belize. It was like an armpit, and the internet is terrible, so don't go there, right? That's the place you don't want to go. All right, not unless you're like a scuba diver and you can like teach people how to scuba dive, or you're a deep sea fisherman and you have a boat or something like that, then maybe, or you have enough money to open a hotel. And even then, I'm like, I don't know. So anyway, so I got to Belize, and I decided I didn't like Belize, so I drove the 4 hours to Cancun. Now, when I got to Cancun, I had 300 and like, I think $60. I can't remember what it was, but it was very little. I got a hotel room for $10 a day, right? And for 30 days, that was $300. I had like $60 left over in my pocket. Maybe less than that. That was, I don't know, 13, 14 years ago or something like that. And I haven't been back to the States. I haven't run out of money, and nothing bad happened to me. So you don't have any money. I'm like, so what? You can make money. The first day that I left, that I got to Cancun and I had that $60, I remember the beach was so beautiful, man. I'm like, man, I got to go down there. I still had all the shit on top of my Jeep and everything. So I got everything off the top of my Jeep because I had all my luggage and my TV and my computer and everything. And I had it all on top of the Jeep. So I took everything. It was like a 4-floor walk up in that fucking hotel. So I walked everything up to the hotel. I came back downstairs and I drove with that Jeep straight to the ocean. Right, and like in the hotel zone is just beautiful. It's like nothing you'd ever imagine, because they actually built and they like brought in sand in Cancun. It's one of the beautiful beaches in the world because they actually truck in the sand, right? So I go walk out to the beach, right? This is the ocean, right? And I sit down right here. Over here, there was another black dude sitting right here. And the dude had like on a suit and tie at the beach. I'm like, what the fuck, right? So I immediately started talking to him. And come to find out that he wasn't like a brother from the United States of America. He was a Cubano. He was a Cuban. His name was Michel. We started talking, and he told me that he knew a German dude, right? Another expat who was also black, that had an internet company, and that he wanted somebody to help him do his marketing, right? That dude paid me $1,000 a month. That's what my gig was, $1,000 a month to start marketing for his company. I got that job my first day that I jumped down in the country, right? So that'll just show you that, and I had my computer. That's a whole different story. But that'll just give you an idea of, you don't worry about how much money you have, and don't worry about what you have going on right now. And, I don't speak the language, because I talked to this guy in English. I didn't hardly speak any Spanish at that time. This guy I talked to in English, and everything I had to work on the internet was English, right? But I wanted you to see the common denominator here. Everybody in this equation was expats. He's from Cuba. He was an expat. He's from Germany. He's an expat, and there was me. I'm an expat. All three people. This guy was a musician, and he played. He's actually in the States now. He played the sax, and he worked for all the hotels. This guy ended up owning like a coffee shop in the hotel zone. And I think now he owns a burrito place or something like that. And then me, I moved on. But my point is that all of us had businesses there, and we all found something in common that we could do with one another. I ended up getting him a job with a friend of mine named Barry later on down in the years, right? So the expats get together. I just started talking to him. I saw somebody and I said, well, hey, man, what's going on? And I was like, yeah, I'm trying to get a gig. I just got here. And he's like, hey, man, I know somebody you could probably work for. Let me give him a call. Boom, done. Job done, man. So don't be scared. I'm going to do another video tomorrow, guys. Like I said, I got a ton of stories about working out of the country, and I can give you 1,001 ideas on how to get out of the country and go travel the world and work at it. I worked anytime I got ready to work or didn't work, right? So to give you an example, when I first came to Europe, I didn't want to work, so I had enough money where I didn't have to, and I went to Africa, and I went to a couple countries, and I stayed in Africa for like 2 months, and I didn't work there. No working there, right? So I just toured, had a good time, just wanted to check out the motherland and just go see what it was about, and I didn't work. But then when I got back to Europe, I started, I think I was, man, here's another a gig that I got, right? This was before, Jesus Christ, this was before, like YouTube, I think, yeah, YouTube was very young, if YouTube was even around, okay? I think YouTube was around, but you guys remember when Al Gore opened, what was the name of that place? I can't remember the TV place he opened or whatever, but if you guys remember when he opened that TV place, it was like Current. It was Current TV. Current TV paid me $5,000 to shoot 2 short documentaries. One was in London, and the other one was in Prague. Okay, and I didn't. Those were the first 2 pieces that I shot ever. Just took a camera, microphone. I studied. I think there was YouTube then. Yeah, because I studied on YouTube on how to do it, and they paid me $5,000. Boom, done. My rent in Paris was like $2,000 a month. 2 months rent down, done. See ya. And I got paid quickly, right? So, and this was before anything that's going on right now. There's a bunch of ways to make money, guys. That was just a couple of ways. All right. So I just wanted to go live tonight, talk to you guys and chit chat. I don't do this a whole lot, but I'm going to do it more often. And maybe next time even I'll answer questions, because I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. Is there like anybody like listening or talking or whatever? I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing right now. All right. So anyways, man, I guess that's a coffee break, isn't it? How do you do that?